Hi, Jeff. How are you doing there in
Yeah,
Tennessee, United States?
yeah, man. Tennessee, that's it. Great
And
life.
Mark. So you're one of the top leaders in network marketing, I would say. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers? So when did you
Yeah,
start?
of course, I'm Jeff Altgilbers, and I'm in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in where the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is right here. So I live on a mountain viewing it, and that's where I raised my family. I have my children here still with me. I've been in network marketing 45 years, and my current
That old.
company,
When? So you started when you were just born. I mean, you're
yeah,
45.
yeah. Yeah, it was right around puberty, it's just like Asia, when babies are born and they breastfeed, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, what's the compensation
Yeah.
plan? But 45 years ago, yeah. So FLP, that was my first company. Somebody introduced. I don't know anything about network marketing because we're talking about 1970s. And at that time, I was cleaning windows, just had a cleaning business. And I remember one day a preacher came up to me and said, "Do you want to be saved?" And I looked at him, I said, "Sir, if you can save me from cleaning these windows, I sure would appreciate it." Like, I didn't like that work. And anyway, but I was introduced to he sold me a case of aloe vera uh, juice. And I said, "What do you do with this?" He said, "You sell it." And I said, "Okay." Now, this is before cell phones, before personal computers, before the internet, before
Yeah.
FedEx, UPS, whatever, we got nothing but a brochure. And, so trying to figure it out. And the idea of team building wasn't a concept at that time. It was just selling product. Going to a payphone booth, I put a dime in, call a customer back, say, can I bring you another jug of juice? You know, so it was interesting. That was the starting point. I'll never forget that. But yeah, that was how it
But
started.
but you just were selling the juice. You didn't build a team. You didn't find distributors. Just one on one. No, nobody
Yeah.
told you basically about the possibility to build up something.
It's like anything. I think a lot of people back then didn't understand really, because we called it multi-level marketing then.
Mhm.
And so they did, and if the person who sponsored you doesn't know, and the person who sponsored him doesn't know, then it's just a perpetuation of an
Yeah.
incompetent, you know, kind of situation. But it was fine. It was, in the 1980s, I was in, Jeff Roberti. So I was in his team in the 1980s in what was called NSA then.
So was I. But
Were you?
in the Netherlands, that is how I started in network marketing. We
Oh,
started,
really?
yeah, really a cold call. Please go to
Wow.
the hotel because we have something interesting. And it was a lady calling me. I didn't know her, but she had a great voice. So I told my wife, please come with me. I don't want to be in trouble. So yeah. So a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
American top leaders started in NSA or Amway or I guess.
Yeah, and NSA was at that time was a good way. It was good training for me at the time because everything had changed. So now I understood the team building concept. We had a slide projector. We had a VCR. You could pop a tape in and watch Roberti, you know, do a presentation. I could sip coffee with a prospect. And and then I had my first cell phone that looked like a walkie-talkie, carried it around, set it on a table at a restaurant. People get curious and they say, what are you in? Network marketing.
Uh,
But yeah, NSA, and so that was, and then we had a corporate approach to it back then. I don't know if you did that in the Netherlands, but that's what we did. So, I mean, I was always running ads in the newspaper, curiosity ads. I had 3 objectives, 3 goals: get the phone to ring, set the appointment, recruit them. That's it.
Yeah.
And so I would set up appointments for people like 10 a.m., 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening, and I would do group presentations while people threw rocks at me, right? So,
So
but
were you successful with that approach?
I was
Yeah.
for a time, yeah. And it was just one of those things, you know. It was like a Wall Street approach to network marketing. In other words, where people look down on the profession, we wanted them to look up to it.
Yeah.
And so we were in, you know, 3-piece suits and all that, and that's so I would go to the office every day. I had a 4,000 square foot office at that time in Huntsville, Alabama, and then later I had a second office in Birmingham, Alabama. So yeah, it was interesting, and had you know, interesting leadership. Some of those leaders are no longer in network marketing, but for me, it was just you know, it was just I had a hunger and appetite to learn the profession. And then later on, I said, you know, a Wall Street approach is not necessary. We need to teach people how to do presentations in homes, and later that's what I did.
Okay. So, and at a certain point, because nowadays you are in 4Life, how long did it take you because I think 4Life at this moment is for you a big success. You have a big team in it worldwide, what I see. After how many hours did you years did you sign up for 4Life? And what was the reason?
Oh, so I didn't come into 4Life until 1999, was it? Yeah, 19. So I've been in 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years. So the company prior to it was really my first success company. I mean, I say success. In other words, I was a full-time professional where I was living off residual income. So that would have been in March of 1994. And so I was briefly with that company for like 5 years, and then we were sold. I don't know if you remember Enrich, a company called Enrich, later became Unicity.
Okay.
Okay. So because we were sold, and a company out of the Netherlands actually bought it, and they bought a company called what's it? It's a no drugstore, Rexall Showcase.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So they combined Rexall Showcase with Enrich and called it Unicity. And I didn't like any of it. It was a stair-step breakaway, and I could see the leadership was wrong. The corporate leadership was wrong. So for the first time, I was like, man, this is a crisis, you know, because in that company, I went from bankruptcy to going into the house of my dreams in 18 months. And then 5 years later, we're sold. And I'm saying, oh man, it's deja vu. I'm back here again. Really?
But I think it is a typical journey in network marketing. If you are in network marketing for, let's say, 20 years, that you see that companies are sold, you have to start all over again. A couple of 2 days ago, I spoke with David Moses, exactly the same story, basically, as you had to rebuild it a couple of times. But because you are a network marketing professional, you can do that. I mean, that separates you, a leader, in my perspective, from a newbie or somebody who is maybe has some luck and has some downline. I mean,
Yeah.
so okay.
Except I didn't bring my downline over.
Yeah.
Because when we were sold, everybody started going different directions.
Yeah.
And so when I started in 4Life, I started at ground zero. I had to start all over again. I had to go back to a beat up contact list that I had. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go 90 days. But actually, even before that, I had a resistance to the whole idea because I was so disillusioned at that time, because it was hard for me to be confident that network marketing even had a future, that you could trust corporate owners my trust was like crushed.
Yeah.
And so, and I lived in a house that time, of course, in Europe, it's no big deal, but it was built in 1860, the year 1860, right? And so the guy that was trying to sponsor me anyway, he knew I had an interest in it, but when he asked, he said, "Are you ready to get started?" I said, "No, no." And then I went out and just started painting the house. When I was painting the house, all I could think of, and I just repeated it probably 1,000 times, very powerful affirmations, right? I hate network marketing. All these owners are dogs. We build it, they destroy it. I must have said that 1,000 times. And then finally, this guy, he was thinking I'm not going to do it. And anyway, finally, he called me New Year's Eve. He said, "Are you going to get started?" And I said, "It's like this. Tonight, I'm going to go out and I'm going to think and I'm going to drink. And tomorrow will be my go date." And I remember going in that room, closing the door. I said, "Okay, I'm going to go 90 days. I'm going to go 8 to faint. That is 8 in the morning till I faint.
Yeah.
For 90 days, I'm going to lose my mind." And that's what I did. And so I sponsored 27 people. I had a team of 800 after 90 days, whole new team, and that was it. And from that point forward, I could say I've been part-time ever since, because the ripple effects continue, even 26 years later here. Yeah.
So you had still something burning there from the past,
Yeah.
saying, "Listen, suppose it would work. Suppose it would work." Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
I didn't know
Well,
this.
I was still saying, if you forget where you come from, you're on your way back.
Yeah. And
So
what
I
is
didn't forget where.
sorry, and what is the size of your team at this moment? How many people are?
I have not got to be, I'm just being honest with you. I haven't, the last time I checked, I was right at 500,000 affiliates and customers around the world in 57 countries.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten up, and I haven't asked for an update in years, but it's good. And, after having come out of now we're in a post-pandemic world now, it's different. And so I think the world had to learn, how we're going to live our lives and move on in a different way. And a lot of leaders did in network marketing. A lot of companies did. So I think, especially if you look like the Philippines, where it's very face-to-face in presentations, in doing meetings and all that. And for them to go into, to shelter at home, be at home, and then they had to adapt and go to Zoom. And it was amazing. It was amazing to see the resilience of even people like that in a very poor country, and how well they did. Matter of fact, I did a Zoom call with them last night, and but very resilient people. So yeah, but it's good.
Now, what is your golden bullet for newcomers? I mean, you have so much experience. What would you advise somebody who is really motivated? What is your best advice?
Best, I think, manage your expectations, and then don't come into this and think it's going to be easy. Now, if you want to just make a few $100s a month or $1,000 a month, that's easy. But if you want to become financially independent, if you want to become a network marketing professional, that's not easy. It's worth it though. And I tell that to people when I sponsor them, or if I'm doing a new training for new people. I'll say, what was your life like before you joined For Life? What was it like? Well, then they tell me their struggles and their job and maybe their family life and dropping the kids off at daycare or some relative's house, picking them up late in the day, going home exhausted. I said, wow, that was hard, wasn't it? Really hard. I get it, man. I feel you. So here's the thing. Don't come over here and think this is going to be easy. And here's the difference. Where your life before For Life, that wasn't easy. That probably isn't going to change, but over here it will. Over there, you don't make that much money, right? You're not being paid what you're worth. You go from month to month, and over here your money will get better every month. Over there, you'll never own it. Over here, you will own it. And so that's the price.
I think it is in general for every network marketing company which is stable. That is true. You have to manage your expectations. Don't give up. It takes time, and you have to learn. I think that learning for a lot of people with a big ego is the biggest struggle. I know it all. I'm good in
that's
so I'm also good in network marketing. I'm good in sales, so I'm also good in network marketing. No, you're not so good yet in network marketing because you don't have the experience. Am I right? Or
that's right. And it's people experience. Matter of fact, we're having a convention next month, and I was asking corporate yesterday, what do you want me to talk on? And they said peace and unity because of ego, right?
yeah.
And that's the shame. Once some of these leaders get to a point, and I think a lot of that happened also during the pandemic. I can remember 1 month during the pandemic, my volume went up $10 million in the month, 10 million.
Oh.
And so a lot of leaders, when they see that, they think, wow, I'm so powerful. I'm so great, you know, because of this, because of all this volume, all this business. I'm so awesome, you know. No, you're not. What you're riding on is product momentum. That's all it is. It's product momentum. It's not. So we have to understand product momentum never lasts. It never lasts. When it starts plateauing, that's the time where your leadership momentum better kick in. And then leadership momentum is realizing I'm not the big deal. My team is the big deal. That's the big deal. Yeah. And you know, don't treat them as employees. They're not employees. They're a volunteer army. They can leave anytime. So you should be humble. You should be shocked that they would even want to make you money. That's my attitude. That's my thinking, you know.
I think you're absolutely right there. Now, okay. Well, thank you very much for this half hour. Let's do it again.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And I'm going to stop the video, the recording for one moment. Sorry.